In SAP S/4HANA, we can configure an approval workflow for manual journal entries so that any manual entry posted must be approved by certain people based on certain conditions. This was not available in SAP before, and I know many companies that use external third-party systems to manage this workflow part, such as Blackline or Windshuttle or many other systems. And of course, this introduces complexity into the software landscape and additional cost. But now in SAP S/4HANA, this is included in the standard license. And also it doesn't require any coding. So any SAP finance and controlling consultant can learn how to set up this workflow, and it can be easily done. In the video today, I'm going to show you a demo on SAP S/4HANA 2023 on how we can set up the different approval levels and the different approval conditions. And then we are going to post together a manual entry so we can see the different notifications for the workflow that appear to the different lines of approval until the document is posted. The interesting thing here is that all the steps related to setting up the approval levels and the approval conditions are actually end user steps, so that any end user who has the needed authorization can change the flexible workflow without needing an SAP consultant and without needing to configure the back end of the system. Before we start with the video, I'm going to take 2 minutes to answer some of the questions I received regarding the SAP S/4HANA server subscription that I announced in the last video. So now, as you know, anyone who is interested in running the demo as I do in the video, so if you would like to test the process exactly the same way, and also anyone interested in checking my configuration and in configuring the system to test and learn, can subscribe to the SAP S/4HANA server that I'm using in the videos. This is a new service that I started last week, and I have received many questions about this, so I decided to answer all of them in the video, so this way we all have the answers. So the first question is, will I have access to configure all the different modules and also to test all the different processes? Yes, you will have full access to the system to configure everything and also to test anything in the different modules, FI, MM, SD, and so on. The second question is, will I have ABAP coding access? No. So for now, we don't have developer access in our server. So you'll not be able to write any ABAP code or to modify any code. So if you are looking to learn ABAP development, this server will not be good for you. The next question is, will I get access to the AG configuration manual if I subscribe to the server? The answer is yes. So the AG configuration manual is the manual where I maintain all the different configuration steps that I do in order to set up the system. So this will include everything from creating your company code until the level where you can actually run the processes that I do in the videos. So it includes everything. I also add all the different errors that I face in the system. So when I'm configuring or whenever I'm testing a process and I find errors, I add these also in the troubleshooting steps in the configuration manual. So it is very useful. It is the same manual I share today with the Elite and the Platinum members of the channel. So anyone who subscribed to the SAP server will also get access to this configuration manual to display it so you can see the different steps and learn from them. The next question is, what is the Slack chat room that I'm offering to the subscribers? So this is the same Slack community that I'm using today. It is a free application that you download, or you can also access it through a website. And there we have different channels. So there will be a private channel to the server subscribers. This way we can chat together to ask different questions about the server. You can also find someone who can cooperate with you to set up a certain process. So for example, if you are an FI consultant and we have an MM consultant who is a subscriber also, you can help each other. So this will be super useful. Also, it helps when someone is looking at a screen or when someone faces a very critical issue in the server. So if someone changes the client currency, for example, this can block everything. So this chat channel, I will be monitoring it continuously, and if there are any issues and any things I can help with, I will respond as much as I can. Also, the subscribers, as I said, they can cooperate together. So we do need a community on the server before we can actually have the full benefit from this, because this is a new service. But yes, this is the final vision for the Slack channel. The next question is, how much does it cost and what are the payment methods that we accept? So for the payment methods, we already have a Stripe payment page available. So you go to our website link and there you will be able to pay with credit card, debit card, or PayPal. And for the price, it is 60 EUR per month or 150 EUR per 3 months. So it is cheaper if you buy 3 months. And I have also received a question on why this is not a free service. It is a reasonable question, a little strange, but still reasonable. So in order to set up the server, we had to buy the hardware, buy SAP licenses, and also we have a complete technical team working with us. So we have ABAP consultants and basis consultants who work with us on freelance basis for sure, but we have to pay them. So this is a paid service. And also there is the effort that I do in order to set up the configuration on the server. So for example, the process that I'm going to demonstrate today for the journal entry verification or the manual entry approval process actually took me around 3 full days to configure. The reason is this is a new server, and also because even with the SAP best practice, you will still find issues with the workflow. So I had to solve a lot of issues related to the Fiori gateway, to the system user authorizations and so on. And all of the defects that I solved are very well documented in the configuration manual. So if you'd like to learn, you'll find all the steps there. But anyway, it took me a lot of time to configure, so we have to charge for this service. Also, we cannot charge a very low price because this means we will have to accept a lot of subscribers to cover our cost. And if we have a lot of subscribers, the server quality will be lower and we will not be able to support all of them. So as I said, any issues that you face related to the configuration, I will do my best to support. Also, the technical team that we have will do the best to support any technical issues. So we need to have a reasonable number of subscribers. This is why there is a limited place on the server. I hope that I answered all of your questions related to the SAP server. If you have any other questions or if you would like to subscribe to the server, you can send us an email at agsapaccess@gmail.com. And we will answer your questions and we'll send the payment links to subscribe to the service. As I just mentioned, we can only accept a limited number of subscribers, so if you are interested, let us know. And now let's proceed with this demo on our amazing SAP server. Here is my SAP Fiori, and first let me show you the employees defined in my system and explain the scenario I'm going to demonstrate today for the workflow. So to display all the employees maintained, we can go to this application, Maintain Employees. Here we can insert the different selection criteria we want and then click on Go. As you see, I have 4 different employees defined. I have an accountant, manager 1, manager 2, and manager 3. Each of these users is assigned to an SAP login ID. So this way I'm going to log in with the different users and show you the notifications received in each and how to process the approval. So now this window we have here is for the AG accountant. If I switch here to the right, we have the AG manager. And if I switch to the right again, we have the AG manager 2. The way I'm doing this is I'm using different browsers and I'm also using incognito. So this one is incognito. So this allows me to log in with another user on SAP Chrome, in Google Chrome. And this one is in Safari. So this is a different browser. So I can log in with a third user. This is a very simple trick in order to be able to test when you have different users to work with. So now let's go back to our accountant. So here we have the 4 employees, and the scenario I'm going to demonstrate today is that the accountant is going to submit an accounting entry, and if the accounting entry has a value lower than 50,000 EUR, then it will pass without any approval needed. While if it has a value higher than 50,000 EUR, then it must be approved by 2 people, by the manager 1 and the manager 2. Now let's go back to our Fiori Launchpad. And before we start, I'm also going to show you the workflow that I created. So we can go here to manage workflows for journal entry. As you see, all of these are end user applications. So the end user can actually go on and create a workflow, modify it, and also change different things, different conditions in the workflow, as long as he has the authorization needed. So we don't need the help of SAP consultants to be able to do this, and this is amazing. So I will open the application Manage Workflows for Journal Entry. And here I have 2 active workflows. The first one is AG00 50,000 EUR threshold, and the second is no threshold. So this means that SAP is going first to check the first one, whether an entry has a value higher than 50,000, and if it does, then it will activate the first workflow. While if it doesn't, so the value is lower than 50,000, it will go to the second one, which is without threshold, and it will apply the second workflow. Now let's go to each one and show you quickly what are the conditions there. So if I go to the first one with 50,000 threshold, so this is our first workflow. First we have the workflow name, so AG0050K EUR threshold. And then we have the description. So this is a manual text that I inserted to explain what is this workflow. Company code AG00 in AUR, lower than 50K needs no approval, equal to 50K or higher needs 2 approvers. So the threshold means that the approval will start from this number. So if we post a document for 50,000 EUR, it will require an approval. Now let's go down. Here we have the start conditions. So the conditions I have is company code AG00. and threshold amount in company code currency is 50,000. So company code AG00 has the currency EUR. This means that if the document has a value of 50,000 EUR or higher, it will require approval. Here also we have the created on, created by, changed on, and changed by. So this is the history of the workflow. And if we go down, we have the different steps in the workflow. So the first step is verify one, then we have verify one level 2, and then post. So first, this document, if it meets the conditions, so company code AG00 and has a value of 50,000 or higher, first it will go to the general journal entry verification level 1. And then it will go to the general journal entry verification level 2. And then it will be posted automatically by a system user once it's approved by these two levels. So this is how the workflow works. As you see, it looks very simple. It's really not complicated at all for an end user to learn how to do this and to control it as he wants. Now let's go back, and I want to show you the assignment between my employees and the general journal entry verification levels. So as you see here, we have level 1 and 2. And then in another screen, we assign these levels to the employees. So this way SAP knows which employee should receive the notification. Now let's go back. To do this, we go to Manage Teams and Responsibilities. Here I have my team. So this is a team that I already defined. In order to define a new team, you can click on Create. It's very easy. Now I will choose my team, and then I can click here to display. So first, the team has a global ID. So this is an ID that you insert yourself. Here it is GAVA. So Journal Entry Verification AG01. And the type is FIGL Verification Team in General Ledger. And the category is GL Journal Entry Verification. Now, if I go down here, I have the company code AG00. I can define different responsibilities here. So I can insert a cost center, GL account group, and so on. And we have a team owner and different team members. So the team owner I have here is AG Accountant. This doesn't change anything for our demo. What is important for our demo is the team members and the function assigned to each. So this is the team owner. And then if you check here for team members, we have business partner, full name, user ID. So the user ID, Abdullah 011 and 12 and 13. So these are the different managers. So this is manager 1, manager 2, and manager 3. I know here the description is accountant, but this is for manager 2. I created the employee with a wrong name. And then here we have a business partner number. So each employee must be assigned to a business partner. This is similar to the customer and vendor business partners. So it's also created in the transaction BP. But once we maintain an employee in the system, it will be automatically created as a partner. You don't have to do this manually. So these business partners were created automatically when I added the employees in the maintain employees application I showed you in the beginning of the demo. So this is the business partner number, full name, user ID. So this is the SAP ID that I'm logging with. And then here we have the different functions. So this is the important part. So 011, which is manager 1, is assigned to general journal entry verification level 1. You don't see the full text here, but you can see it once I put the mouse over it. And then Abdullah 012 is assigned to general journal entry verification level 2. And 013 is assigned to 03. In the demo today, I'm not using the third level. This I will use in more complicated scenarios in the future. I want you to leave me comments. Tell me what scenarios you would like to see for the workflows. So if you have more complicated scenarios, let me know. So for today, I'm going to use these two. Now you understand how SAP is connecting the employee to the approval level that we have in the workflow. Now let's go back. And let's go again to the workflow screen. I want to show you how to create additional workflows. So if I go here, so as you see now we have these two. You have seen the first one. It has a condition of 50,000 and the company code AG00. The second workflow that we have with no threshold, if I go here, so this one, if we check the conditions, I only have one condition, which is company code AG00, and I don't have any condition for the amount. So this means that anything that is lower than 50,000 will be posted automatically. And in the workflow steps, we only have one step, which is post. You have to define this one. So even though it has a 0 condition for the amount and it only has the step for post, you must define it. Otherwise, when someone submits an entry for verification, it will get stuck with workflow pending because SAP is not able to find a workflow that matches the conditions. So you must define this step as the initial one. Now let's go back. A very important point here is the order of our workflows. we always want SAP to check the high threshold first and then to go lower, as you see here. So SAP is going to first check the condition of 50,000. If it doesn't meet the condition, then it will go to the second workflow. If I do otherwise, so if I put the no threshold first, then any entry that will be posted, whether it is lower or higher than 50,000, will be posted automatically without approval because there is no condition. So you always put the thing that has the highest conditions first and then go easier. In order to change the workflow order, we can click here on define order, and this will show all the different workflows that we have here, and we can choose which one is first and second by clicking on these arrows. So if I want the no threshold to be up, I can click here, it will be number 1. If I want it to be second, I can click here, it will go back to number 2. I will keep it in number 2, so this way SAP will first check the condition of 50,000. If it doesn't find the condition, then it will move to the second one. Then click on save. So now we understand the two different workflows I have activated in my scenario today and the order of these workflows. Now let's proceed and submit our accounting entry to see the notifications. So let's go back. Now the user or the accountant that should submit the journal entries will only have access to one application, which is verify journal entries for requestor. He shouldn't have any access to other applications to post general ledger accounting entries. So the application for manage journal entries, post journal entries, FB50, FB02, any application where he can post accounting entries should be blocked from this user. He should only have access to verify general journal entry for requestor application. This way, we are sure that he will always use this application, which will trigger the workflow. The other applications are not going to trigger the workflow. So this is very important. So this user will only have access to this one to post accounting entries. He will click here. So this is the accountant. And then here we have a screen that shows all the accounting entries submitted. He can click here on go. And these are all the different accounting entries submitted with the status. And also there are a lot of filtration criteria here. We can filter by company code, period, year, who submitted the entry, and so on. To create a new journal entry, we can either click on create, or we can click on upload and use an Excel sheet to upload as many entries as we want. It is very easy. If you click there, you will be able to download the template, and I will show you this in a second. First, let's start with the basic one, which is creating one entry. So I will click on create here. This will open a screen very similar to any journal entry screen. Here we have the journal entry date. So let's say 05/05/2024. And we have the journal entry type, company code, transaction currency, press enter, the period, and so on. And then we have the line items. I only have 2 line items. I can add other line items by clicking here. So click on add, and this will add other line items. I will only use 2 in the demo today. So we have the first line is company code AG00. The GL account is 310015. So this is an expense account. And the amount will be, let's say, for 50,000. So 50,000 should trigger the approval workflow. So this one will be for 50,000. And then the other side of the entry, which is the credit, will be to the account 150000. So this is a bank account. And the credit is also 50,000. We need to insert a cost center or a cost object for the first line because it's an expense line. So if we go here, the cost center is 3,000. And then now we have our accounting entry, debit to an expense, credit to the bank account. Then we can either simulate or click on submit. Once I click on submit, this will give a notification. Journal entry 19 was submitted for verification in company code AG00. Click on OK. And now let's go back. And here we can find our accounting entry number 19. The status is submitted. And if you click here on history, you can see the actions. So AG accountant, today at 15:38, workflow started, verify journal entry. Nothing else happened, so it has not been approved yet. If you go to comments, there's nothing. Attachments, there is nothing. And then here, if we go to this icon, processor, we can see who is responsible now for approving this journal entry. So this is the first level. It went to AG Manager 1. Now let's switch to the other screen for AG Manager 1. So this is the other user, and check what he received. So here we have an application called Verify Journal Entries in General Ledger for Processor inbox. So if I click here, this will show all the notifications related to approving journal entries. And here we have all the different details. So we have the journal entry number, type, currency, fiscal year, date, posting date, and so on. And if you go down here, we have all the different details of the line items. So here is our first line item, and here is our second line item. We can also see the history of this document by clicking on show log. And here we can see that AG accountant started the workflow and created the approval task. If I go here to task log, this will say that AG accountant task created. So this gives us a complete history of the document. Now, if this document is okay, the manager can click on approve or can reject and mention the rejection reason. So now I will click on approve. And here, let's say correct document. And click on submit. This is just to test that we will be able to see the notes in the next levels. So now the document has been approved. Let's go back to our accountant and see what happened here. So now if I refresh and then click here on processor, we can see now that it went to AG Manager 2. And if I check the history, go to actions. So now we see that AG Manager 1 today at 15:42 has approved this journal entry. We have a complete status of the document every time. Now let's go to Manager 2 and approve this document. And as you see here, we already have one document waiting to be processed. So this is the same application we used in Manager 1, which is verify journal entries in General Ledger for processor inbox. So click here. And here we have our document number 19, again with the same details. So we can see the document number, type, and then the document lines. We can also, if you see the other notes that are posted, so if I click here, we can see that the AG Manager 1 said correct document. So this can be anything like instructions. And also we can see the full history. If we click on show log, here we have everything. So AG Manager completed the task. So the beginning was here. So AG accountant started the workflow, created the task, and then AG Manager completed the task. So now we understand the full history. We can also click on this hyperlink to display the document on SAP Fiori. So if I click here, this will open another application. Of course, if the manager has access to do so, this will display the document in another screen. Now let's go back and I will click on approve. We can also reject if needed. We will test this in another case today also, but now let's approve. And let's say good, very nice, and submit. So now this is our second level of approval. Now the document should be automatically posted. Let's go back to the accountant and refresh our overview. As you see, the document's already posted, so it has the status posted here. And if we click here, there's our manager that's assigned, so this was the last level. If we click here on history, we can see that it has been approved by Manager 1 and the Manager 2. If we go to comments, we can see the different comments by the managers. And now if we go back to the Fiori Launchpad and go to Manage Journal Entries, this will show us all the entries that are already posted in the system. Here we have the different filtration criteria, and then we have all the documents posted. So as you see, we have our document here. It has been posted like any other normal document. So this is our first case, 2 levels of approval for a document that exceeds 50,000. Now let's do some negative testing. So I'm going to post a document that's lower than 10,000. I'm going to post a document that's 1 EUR less than 50,000. And let's also try to do 1 rejection. I will try to keep the video short, but let's do quickly the other test cases. This way I can also show you how to upload the journal entries. So now let's go back to our application, verify journal entries for requestor. And this time, instead of creating 1 entry, I will upload multiple ones. So click on upload. Here we can download the template. So if you click here, and then you can choose the format, spreadsheet of course, and then download. So SAP will download the template. I already have the template filled, so let me open my Excel sheet. So here is my template, and it is very easy to use. First, we have the header. Every time you insert a document, you must start with a header. So you see here we have 1 header, 2 header, 3 header. And then first you have the header fields and the line item fields. It's very easy to use. I'm really happy with the quality of this template. So first we have the company code. You have all of this already pre-filled. What you do is you just insert your values. Any field with an asterisk is mandatory. So now the company code is AG00, journal entry type SA, posting date, journal entry date, and then if you have any text for any header text, the currency is mandatory, and this is all for the header. And then we go to the line items. So this is exactly the same entry I inserted. I just changed the amounts. So I'm using the same GL accounts. So this one is 310015, and the other one is the bank account 1540s. We have here the company code, and then we have the amount. So this is the transaction currency amount. So I have one document for 49,999, just to tease the system a little bit and be sure that it actually starts at 50,000 exactly. And we have the credit the same. We have another document here. So again, the same details, but this one is for 70,000, so much higher than 50,000. We already tested this, but let's try to reject this one and see how the rejection works. And then I have a third document. Let's say this one will be for 10,000 only. So this is a very small amount, to see that it will be posted automatically. Now this is all for my upload template. You can easily copy and paste these parts and fill them as you want. I have 3 documents now. Save the document, and let's switch to our SAP Fiori. Click on Browse, and there is my upload template. Actually, I want to use this one, Journal Entry Template XLSX, but as you see, it is dimmed. I cannot choose it. So in this case, you have to go back, click on Refresh, and then go again to Browse. And this time, as you see, I can select it. So double click here. This will choose the template. And now, as you see, we have the view status of journal entries, show log. This will show us if there are any errors. So we have 3 items, 3. So this means we have 3 accounting entries. Now let's go back. We can see the 3 different entries here. If you want to see any of them, you can click on this link and then click here again. And this will show the accounting entry. Now let's go back. So I'm going to submit all of them. So you can either click here, or you can click on each one if you want, and then click on submit. Now the 3 entries have been submitted. If we have any errors, we are going to receive them here. Click on OK, and let's go back. Now click on Go to see the results. So we have the different documents. So the last one we posted was 19. Now we have 20, 21, and 22. I'm going to filter to sort this one as sending or descending, so this way we can see our entries clearly. So we have 20, 21, and 22. We have 2 documents that were posted automatically. So you see this one, 20, and 22 were posted automatically. That's because 20 is for 49,999 and 22 is for 10,000. So both of them are lower than the threshold. So they were posted automatically. This is correct. And we have one that's submitted. So if we check the history of the one that has been automatically posted, like 20, here we can see actions, workflow created, and this is it. We don't have anything. If I click on the document here to display it and confirm, this will show us the line items. And as you see here, we have 49,999, so automatically posted. Now let's go to the one that is submitted and rejected to see how the rejection works. So we have this document, 21, that is for 70,000 AUR, and I'm going to reject it by the manager number 1. So let's switch to manager number 1. Here we have the verify journal entries for processor application. I'm going to refresh. And we have the document here. So click on the document. And then let's click on reject. So let's say wrong values or something. Submit. And it has been submitted. Now let's go back to the accountant who receives the bad news that the accounting entry has been rejected. So click on go. And here we have rejected. If we click here on the history, we can see that it has been rejected by manager 1 and the comment is wrong values. And there is a very nice feature here that the accountant can resubmit the document if needed. He doesn't have to create a new one. So to do this, we can go here and then click on edit. Then of course the accountant should change whatever was wrong with the document. He is not going to resubmit again. Otherwise his manager is going to kill him. And then click on submit. Now the document has been resubmitted. And the manager will again receive another notification, so we can check here. And again, we can proceed with the workflow. And this is it. My work here is done. By the way, the book is finally here. So go ahead and check it on the SAP Press website and let me know what you think. I hope you found this video useful and easy to understand. If you are interested in demonstrating this process to your client or to your company, then you can either subscribe to our SAP server and you can do it yourself, or you can send me a message on LinkedIn and I would be happy to support you with this. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave me your comments, share the video with your connections, check the channel membership program to get access to the member videos and documents, and check our SAP server access service. And remember that we can only accept a limited number of subscribers on the server. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.